Hello, everyone. It is Counselor at Large Julia Mejia. I'm really happy to be with you all. Today is Wednesday, July 28th. Can you believe it? The last Wednesday of the month, and it's July. As you know, this is Woke Women Wednesdays. Every Wednesday at 8 o'clock at night, I bring you a special guest. But before we go there, on Wednesdays at 11 in the morning, you kick your day off with Senator Diane Wilkerson, who gives you the lowdown, all things Black and brown. So tonight, as I mentioned, I really felt it was important for us to utilize this platform to create opportunities for women who are running for city council, whether it's district or citywide, an opportunity to share with our viewers a little bit about who they are, what office they're running for, and why. And the reason is because right now, especially during Zoom, the Zoom world, and also because in these forums, they give you like 30 seconds to answer a question, you really don't have an opportunity to get to know folks. And I hope that these interviews provide you a little bit more insight to the candidates and give you an opportunity to see dope women doing dope things. So tonight, our special guest is running for District 7, Marissa Luce, who I know, who I worked with many years ago. She's a fierce advocate, a fierce activist, a community organizer, and a convener. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring her into the conversation. Hello, Marissa.
Hello, Councilman. How are you?
I'm good. So happy to be in your presence as always.
In your presence.
So before we dive in, I think I'm going to just share a few things about our journey. And then I want you to talk a little bit about you. So I met Marissa probably 4 or 5 years ago at a family engagement, community organizing training that I had the privilege of being selected to participate in. And through that work, got to know her, got to experience her community activism and just how deeply rooted she has always been in community. And then most recently, in my role as a city councilor, Marissa has been such an amazing thought partner around a lot of the issues around civic and community engagement and what does that look like. And through her leadership, for those folks who were experiencing the fireworks, Marissa really stepped up and created a Facebook group, really started having conversation. As a result of that work, we started collaborating, and she was appointed to the mayor's fireworks task force and has been a leading voice in that space. And then since then has worked with us in different ways around civic engagement and community voice. And I'm so incredibly grateful for how much you pour in to this community to ensure that the people who are most impacted not only have a seat at the table, but they're setting the menu. So thank you for all that you have done and all that I know that you will continue to do when you become a city councilor for District 7. So introduce yourself to our viewers, tell us who you are and what inspired you to run.
Well, first, thank you so very much for the invitation to come on your show. I always appreciate the morning show as well as the morning Wednesday shows as well as your evening show as well, and giving women this platform. But we also met Council Mejia at the Peace Institute many years ago when I worked at the Peace Institute. So that was the first time that we met before the Kofi training that we brought to Boston. So yes.
Wow. You know what? That is, yes, the Peace Institute.
At the Peace Institute, when the Peace Institute was on the second floor.
Yeah.
Yes, so many years ago. So my name is Marissa Luce, and I'm running for District 7, Boston City Council. And born and raised in Roxbury, grew up, I'm a Lower Roxbury native. And I always often say that I was born, raised, educated, and empowered in District 7. I grew up on the line, that Mass Ave line of Lower Roxbury and the South End, with both my maternal and paternal families. And so I feel deeply rooted and deeply connected to this district, and have been all my life. And so I'm running because, one, I really want to bring the people's voice to City Hall. I feel like there is a big step that continues to be missed, and that is really having the people's voice, really being the center part of the conversation, the center part of the solution. And so I really want to work on ensuring that, ensuring that we all understand and know that it's okay to slow things down, to ensure that the constituents of the city really have a place. Not only a place, they're helping to set the table, and they're helping to determine what's on the menu. And so that's why I'm running. And I also am running because for me, don't want my son, who's now 7 years old, to inherit the same issues that I inherited from my family, from my parents, that my parents inherited from my grandparents. I think that, we really need to take collective action, but we also need to do the work to ensure that that space is created to do so.
Yes. Spoken like a true organizer, right? Who understands the importance of voice. And I think that you are absolutely right. I've always said this in a lot of different spaces, is that, the process and how we get there is just as equally, if not even more important, as to where we get to, because we're in this rush mode and everything has to be done so quickly. And you're absolutely right. We are losing out on creating real meaningful spaces for people to inform our thinking. And that's why we end up with all this opposition, right? And so I really love your intentionality around really centering this work and creating space for people-led processes, because we need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've been doing that work on the city council, and it's been one, refreshing to see, but also exciting to experience and participate in. And I think that we need more more leaders to create that space, and so that you're not doing that work alone, and that we also are being able to come up with these collective solutions on collective solutions and strategies on how to do so. Because again, first of all, this district is not a monolith, right? Like, there's so many different people that make up this district. There's so many people that have come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and experiences culturally. And so we need to ensure that we're creating that space for all voices to be heard and to be centered. And I think that, one, that work is possible, because we know it's possible, because we see what the outcome is when people are engaged and when they do feel a part of the process, right? But if people are continuing to say that, oh, I didn't know about that issue, I didn't know, I didn't know about that meeting, I didn't know about that development, I didn't know that there's a problem there. Right? Or why wasn't I asked? Or why was this decision made? And so we can solve that problem by creating the space necessary for people's voices to be heard. It's just, we have to do that work.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so excited about your candidacy, because you are, like, it's great. I've heard a lot of really great ideas and things that we can do on the policy front, but I think you're a process person, collectively, around policy and process, right? And those two things need to be married together, and that's the type of thought leadership you're going to bring. And the thing is, to be honest with you, that's the kind of work you've been doing, right? You are taking the model of engagement and bringing it into city government, which is what these times require. And I think that more people like you should be running for office, because you are unbought, right? Unbothered in many ways, and you're here for the people that you are going to represent. And I think that is what is so refreshing, about your race. I see a wave of grassroots, organizers going out and signing up and stepping up to take the lead and be in the council. And I know for a fact that next year's council is going to be completely different. And it's going to be ushered in by folks who have been doing the work and living the realities, and that's what's going to change the entire way we do business. So I'm really excited about all of that. So tell our audience, what are some of your top priorities? What are some of the issues that you're going to be tackling on the council?
So again, as you said, I am a process-driven person. I believe that we have to, in order to address these quality of life issues in our district, we really have to, put the people first and center the people's voice. And so one is really around civic education. I know that you have been doing a lot of work around civic engagement. We need to really increase civic participation in our district. We have around 42,000 people who live in this district, and less than 5,000 are voting. And we need to increase that number, and do what is necessary, and really do the necessary work to ensure to figure out why people are not engaging. And so I want to increase civic participation in the district, but I also want to prioritize civic education in the district, and that it's happening at the city hall level as well as it's happening through, in the different neighborhoods of District 7 as well, so that people can really learn about how how city government works, learn about all the different departments that they would engage in and how they work for them, and then in terms of how to navigate them as well. I would love to create information hubs, and this is a lot of the work that I was doing in the Dorchester community, really working with civic associations and community-based groups in the Dorchester community to really help to be a bridge, so that residents not only know that these groups exist, but also know that they can participate and really get involved in helping to shape the futures of their community. So I really want to bring that, make that a standard practice in our city, and then also bring it to school. Kids, I don't know if you remember, in school we used to have civics. Yeah. And that still was watered down. But, I think that it's important that this really becomes a way of life, that people really understand not only the power of their vote, but the importance of their presence. So that's definitely one area that I really want to focus on. I also really want to, again, in terms of empowering people's voice, is really residents helping to really prioritize what the needs are. What is our agenda? I think that's something that I keep always constantly asking myself. It's like, what is the agenda of the people for District 7? Whether it's the Black agenda, the brown agenda, our agenda. What is our agenda? Because I think if we had a very clear focus as a district, then we can be able to respond to folks who want to develop in our community, because we're going to say we know exactly what we need, because we're very clear on what our vision of our community is. So really, residents helping to shape that. We know exactly what kind of community benefits we want to see in our community. That you're not going to tell us what kind of benefits we should have. We're going to be able to tell you what it is that we need, and how you can help us fill those gaps. So whether it's around education, public safety, community development, or even closing the wealth gap, that residents are helping to prioritize what those needs are of our district. Wow. And then also in terms of one other thing, and there are several others, but one other area is around the trauma-informed responses to our physical, mental, and financial needs of our community. I think that we really need to understand how we are responding to how we are responding to situations in our community, in making sure that we're doing it in ways that meet people where they are, and not where we think they should be. And so I really want there to be more of a more of a intentional touch when engaging with our community, because people are already dealing with trauma. You mentioned the fireworks, and the fireworks issue, or even if we're talking about gun violence in our community, these things are very traumatic. And when you're seeing them happen over and over again, whether you're just hearing it, it has an effect and impact on you. And so I think that we should be thinking about how people are, how people in our community's quality of life is being impacted and what they're living with, whether it's through community noise, through gun violence, through fireworks, and having those conversations, but also making sure that we are thinking from this trauma-informed lens as well.
No, that I appreciate all of that. And, especially around the trauma-informed, I believe that the next pandemic is going to be mental health here post COVID. And we haven't really been leaning into that work. And I think that on the council, we've been a loud voice on it, but I do believe that we need more voices screaming the same thing and building the infrastructure for what that response is going to look like. And it has to be across all city services, all city departments. We have to set a standard here across, the entire, I'm citywide. So there are things that you're talking about that are so relevant and it will impact the entire city. And so, yeah, it goes back again to when you have people who are living the realities and doing the work, the conversation is different. Issues and the approach to the work is different. And that's what I find to be so incredibly refreshing about your race. So let's tell our audience, now that they know a little bit about you, can you tell us what's your why? What drives you?
Ooh, what drives me? Well, one is my passion for the city. Like, I love the city of Boston. Being born and raised here, I had many opportunities to leave, but I just couldn't because I felt that one, this city really helped really develop me and provided me with many different opportunities. And I feel like I'm always constantly discovering something new here in the city of Boston, and particularly even in District 7 itself. I love people. I love connecting people to each other. I love building social capital and increasing civic engagement in their community. I'm passionate about families thriving in this city, and in this district, thriving in this district particularly, and not just surviving here. I get nervous for our young adults because there's just not many opportunities for them. And, the cost of living is so high, and it's very expensive. So home ownership is something that doesn't seem attainable. And that's something that I think about because I know that, that's something that's going to impact my children. And so I'm passionate about ensuring that families, especially Black and brown families, can continue to live here and live quality lives.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And when you think about, let's say, for instance, I'm sure everybody's telling you when you're knocking on doors, what's your 30-second spiel? Because they only give us 30 seconds to answer some of these questions, right? So if you had what's your elevate? If you had to convince a voter as to why they should vote for you, what do you say to them?
I would say that one reason why they should vote for me is because I'm truly committed. I've lived my entire life with being committed to being a community connector and bridger. And I will continue to do that as their city councilor. I think that it's important to be really connected and rooted in your community, and ensuring that you are, making sure that their voices are really heard. And that connection starts with relationships. And I'm going to be committed to building those relationships, not just not just during a campaign, but, even while I'm in office, because we can't do this work without them, without their support. This role is very specific in terms of being an advocate, and ensuring high quality constituent services. But you need your constituents. You need them to have your back, and you need their voices at the table. And I will be committed to doing that.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So let's tell people how they can link up with you. Where do they find you? Where are you on socials? What's your, all that? Let us know.
So where you can find me, I'm on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also LinkedIn. So you can find me there at Marissa for Boston. And also you can check out my website at marissaforboston.com and learn more about me and my platform there. Let me see what else. And then you can also reach out directly to our campaign. My email address is marissaforboston@gmail.com. And you can also call our campaign office at 617-858-0841.
Okay. So, Marissa, can you tell us what about people want to donate or volunteer? What do they do?
Yes. So if you want to also donate to the campaign, you can just go to marissaforboston.com, and there's a link there to make a donation. Also, if you want to volunteer, you can go to marissaforboston.com and click the link, join the team. So you can join the real resilient and ready team and become a heartbeat. And if you want the direct link, you can go to tinyurl.com / Marissa for Boston.
So put that on the chat so I can cut and paste it and share with folks. But talk to me about this little heartbeat situation. Well, you can't just be dropping these gems and then just keep on talking. Help people understand, what is this concept and how was it born?
So first, my heart beats for District 7. Being a Roxbury girl, everyone says that Roxbury is the heart and soul of the city of Boston. And so this in the district also quite interestingly, it sits in the center and is the heartbeat of the city of Boston. It has the incredible in empowering assets in this district. We have like world-class restaurants and entertainment establishments and institutes of higher education to thrive in historical sites, right, that map out the founding of this country, the foundation of our civil rights movement, and so much more. And so I call my volunteers, I call my donors heartbeats, because they are the heartbeat of this campaign. I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I'm doing. I decided to run on April 12th, the day before the deadline. And so I have been trying to get this campaign going in a short period of time, because I've never done anything like that. And so my heartbeats are the heart and soul of this campaign, so I call them heartbeats.
Okay, and I'm gonna put it's www.marissa with one S, right?
marissaforboston.com. I dropped it in the chat.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. And if you want to volunteer.
Yep. Yep. Yes, because I'm gonna put it here so that everybody can see it.
Brook, Boston.
I did it right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you did it right. I just cut and paste it. So everyone knows where they need to go. So it's marissaforboston.com to get activated, to make a donation, to sign up to volunteer, to be one of the heartbeats that will keep District 7 not so much alive, because it is the heart and soul of the city of Boston. I think it's the center of Boston, to be honest with you. It's that smack in the middle. And it's like one of the most important arteries, and it connects so many different cities. I mean, not cities, but neighborhoods. Roxbury intersects with so many. It intersects with Dorchester. It intersects with Jamaica Plain. You know, it intersects with, parts of Eggleston. I mean, it just a little bit of Mattapan. If you go further down Blue Hill Ave, I'm like, it definitely intersects with so many. And I just want you to know, like, I'm really excited about your leadership, your run, and hoping that you'll join me on the council and continue to do this amazing work of bringing people together across their differences, creating space for people to inform the work. I love your thought leadership around the process, because that is definitely, I think, what is missing, and being so laser focused on the how you get there is important. So I really do appreciate all of that. So tell us one more time what events you have coming down the pipeline that people can, meet up with you.
Mm-hmm. So this Sunday we have the Love Your Block. Love Your Block neighborhood cleanup in Nubian Square. And so we're going to be doing a neighborhood cleanup from 9 to 12 p.m. in Nubian Square. If you are interested, I'm going to also drop that link in the chat. We're still recruiting volunteers. We're doing this in collaboration with Aphrodicity. And so please come out, help to, beautify Nubian Square with us this Sunday.
Okay, I'm sorry I was on mute, but yes, super excited about that. And again, Marissa is running for City Councilor District 7, born and raised in Roxbury, community organizer, informed of everything has been about Roxbury for you, Marissa, as you mentioned. Not only were you born here, you were raised here, and you developed your professional career in this space. And so you sit on a number of different community groups, right? You're part of the Roxbury planning. There's a lot of stuff that you've been doing.
We're opening, I'll put a plug in for, if it's okay, a plug in for Roxbury Roots Montessori School. We're opening the first Montessori school in Roxbury. And so if you have any children who, is looking for a school between the ages of 2 and 3, 4.5, please let us know. Reach out to Roxbury Roots Montessori School. It's a beautiful space where children can thrive. So
yeah, I'm so excited about that, and I may put you in touch with some people who will be just as equally as excited around this concept. We've always talked about, when we talk about the foundation for education, creating this type of environment for young people where young people can be free thinkers. That's dope. And I'm so glad that you are a part of that. And yes, put a plug in it, because I definitely want to help support it and promote it and be supportive in any way that I can. I'm so excited that you guys are doing that. Yes, yes, yes to all of those things. Again, you are tuning in to Woke Women Wednesdays, when we talk about all things Black and Brown, the breakdown. Tonight, my guest is Marissa Luce, District 7 City Councilor candidate. And you can find her at marissaforboston.com and across all of her social media platforms to get engaged, to be involved, and to be one of the heartbeats of this movement. So thank you, Marissa, for your leadership. Thank you for joining me this evening. Any last words you want to share?
I just want to thank you for your leadership, Councilor Mejia. It's been an honor working with you and just watching you just lead us in with such conviction and doing it unapologetically. So thank you so much. And I just want to say again, Marissa Luce, please consider me for September 14th for the District 7 Boston City Council seat. And everyone have a good night. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So oops, I always mess up. So I'm going to exit, remove you from the stream here. Okay. So Marissa joined us this evening. Don't forget marissaforboston.com to get engaged, to get involved. This is an invitation for you to work alongside someone who is deeply committed to community voice and the process. So stay tuned next week. I believe we're interviewing another D7 candidate, or maybe someone from at large. I don't know yet, but my production team will let me know. You'll see the promos, but every week we're featuring a different woman who is running for office. Okay, so don't forget, stay woke. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye for now. Be good to you.